Hello and welcome back to an all-new episode of the Couch Brotato Podcast, the greatest movie podcast in the world. Not really, but I do like the sound of that. My name is Russ, and with me, as always, is my co-host, my partner in crime, Mr. Adam Lincourt. Adam, what's shaking, man?
Oh, not much. We got a little bit to talk about in movies today.
Yeah.
There's been some interesting developments over the past weekend.
Yeah. I don't know if you boys and girls were aware there was some movie came out this weekend called Spider-Man Brand New Day. Did monster business. And that's actually the reason we decided to push this back. We were going to record on Friday and just do our reaction to the movie, but tracking on this was looking like this was going to be a monster. So we decided to hold off and wait and see what the final numbers were on Monday. And this thing was definitely a monster. It grossed a record $360 million in North America this weekend. That is the highest grossing weekend in the history of the movie business, topping Avengers Endgame.
Crazy numbers.
Yeah. Man, Spider-Man is just, the last two movies have just been absolute monsters. I mean, No Way Home did, and sometimes I think No Way Home gets swept under the whole Top Gun Maverick saved movies during the pandemic where, you know, the movie industry was slowly trying to get product out there. And there was I think it really was last year where stuff really kind of straightened itself out. But there was a time period where it was very hit and miss. A lot of movies that should have done well really didn't. And I think Top Gun Maverick kind of gets well-deserved credit for it. But a lot of people kind of forget that Spider-Man No Way Home came out, 6 months prior and did even bigger numbers than Top Gun Maverick.
Yep.
So
yeah, it did.
Yeah. Spider-Man, I don't know, is Spider-Man bulletproof from franchise fatigue? Because, I mean, it really seems like it's one of the few franchises right now that seems to be getting stronger versus weaker. Because you're seeing like Jurassic Park, even the MCU movies themselves are starting to kind of show their age, get a little long in the tooth, and their box office is starting to kind of dwindle slowly but surely. But man, Spider-Man's just been an absolute juggernaut the last two films. Do you think they're kind of bulletproof right now from franchise fatigue?
I think they are. I don't know what it is about Spider-Man. I think that even the video games, like, you know how, movie adaptations of video games aren't always great. There are a few, but the movie video games are great. The original video games are great. So I don't know if it's necessarily just the movies. It might just be the character. I was trying to think about this afternoon, and it's just like there hasn't been an extremely bad Spider-Man movie. Now, we can make arguments for Tobey's last movie and Andrew's last movie. They tried to, throw a couple of things in there. The only bad kind of Spider-Man movies from Sony, if we can call them that, are the spin-off movies, which didn't have Spider-Man in them. So I'm pretty sure that it's the character. People are like gravitating towards the character. It's really relatable. Yeah, he's a super strong, enhanced human. We'll say mutant, since Disney wasn't allowed to say it for the longest time. But I think Peter Parker himself is super relatable as a character, and maybe that's why. But Spider-Man's just cool too, so I'm not sure.
He seems to be one of those rare characters in just pop culture that he kind of crosses many different demographics. I mean, I'm a 47-year-old man, and I was pretty pumped to see Spider-Man, but also Spider-Man has a very broad appeal to kids. And he's been pretty much the most popular superhero for decades now. I mean, everybody loves I don't know anybody that really doesn't like Spider-Man. And like you said, he's kind of like relatable. He's a superhero. He puts on the mask, but then like when he takes the mask off, he's kind of a fuck up, kind of a loser. But, he's like just the opposite, or like both sides of a coin, like super awesome, saves the world, saves New York, and then has to basically be a freelance photographer for a newspaper to kind of scrape by.
I think that one of the things that makes him so beloved as a superhero too is he always does the right thing. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's at the detriment of him, like Spider-Man or Peter Parker, if it's at the detriment of himself, he always makes the hard decision to do the right thing. And we can even compare him to DC's most popular superhero, Batman, right? Batman's the same way. He's super relatable too. I mean,
I don't think Batman is he's not quite as relatable as Spider-Man, because Bruce Wayne's fucking. Right. I would love to be more kind of more in line with Batman.
Rich and yeah. But I mean, he deals with his inner demons, and he still has that hard decision to make to do the right thing.
Right.
And I think that people can grasp onto that and say, yeah, no, I get that. And I feel like the most compelling characters are the most broken characters in these comic book movies. And I think that's what makes them, kind of stand the test of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This movie in particular, I think a lot of the success is due to the fact that it's a really, really good movie. Before we continue, I want to give everyone fair warning. You want to go ahead and give our thoughts on Brand New Day now before we dive into the rest of it?
Yeah. Are we going to give a spoiler warning here?
Yeah, let's do a spoiler warning. I mean, I think we might be able to skate around it, but I don't want to take the chance. So I'm just going to tell everybody right now, spoilers are coming. So if you want to skip this part of the program, please do. And then after you've seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, come on back, because we are going to rank all the live action Spider-Man movies here as soon as we get done with this part of the conversation. So just skip ahead a little bit. I think it'll be worth it. But Spider-Man Brand New Day, I thought it was excellent. I will get into a little bit more in the rankings right now, but I think it's my favorite Tom Holland Spider-Man. I know for me, it felt very grounded, and it kind of felt small in a way.
Yeah.
It had a lot of the feel of the video games that Sony puts out, which, like you said, the video games are fantastic. But I think this one really gave Spider-Man a chance to shine and kind of deal with his own things. Because if we think about, like, for me, like, Homecoming was basically he's trying to become Spider-Man, and he has Tony Stark to help him along the way. And as good as Holland has been as Spider-Man, Robert Downey Jr. is the godfather of the MCU. He's always going to take the shine off anybody he's around in those. Second movie, Far From Home, he's outside of New York City, and he's dealing with the loss of Tony Stark, so the shadow's still kind of hanging over him a little bit. And then, of course, the third one, he's kind of dealing with the fallout of Far From Home, where he's got to try to protect MJ and Ned and everybody that he loves. Yeah. Because they're getting like all this scrutiny because he's been outed as Peter Parker. But this one really felt like it was just kind of like, all right, this is the Spider-Man show. He's not dealing with all this existential stuff. He's dealing with, like, I've got to try to help these people, but then, like, I miss my friends. I don't know. It just, I may have like totally worded that wrong, but just it felt more like this was like his movie versus like he was kind of sharing this. Like, of course, No Way Home 2, he had to share the spotlight with Tobey and Andrew, and like kind of like that. It kind of didn't make it feel like a Holland Spider-Man movie, but this one just it really felt like a self-contained story just for him. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with literally everything that you're saying. I think that one thing that, and we could probably get into this a little bit too. A lot of people are saying, oh, Marvel's back, superhero fatigue is over, Spider-Man's great. I'm going to reserve my judgment on that. Spider-Man's always great, like we said before. So I'm not going to use it as an indicator that superhero fatigue is over. But I think that Marvel has finally found out that grounded, self-contained stories do better at the box office than big interconnected CGI messes. Case in point being Ant-Man Quantumania, movies like that. God awful. This one, yeah, it used CG a lot. We're, again, not going to like go too much into the weeds on that, but the story, the content of the movie was grounded. It was personal. I think two of my favorite movies so far lately have been from Marvel, have been the Thunderbolts and this movie. Not because there's a big epic fight at the end, which the fight with the Hulk, that was cool. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit. But the end fight in both movies was one with quiet words. And that's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was no big spectacular fight. It was just the good guy talking to the bad guy. And then it was over.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's so cool to see that narrative and that play out versus there being, punchy, smashy. So, and there's plenty of that in the movie too. So,
oh yeah, a lot of great action sequences. Personal favorite is the fight with the hand, the group of teenage ninjas inside. Was that a hospital or no? That was inside the damage
prison,
control.
Supermax. Yeah.
But tons of cameos and characters in this. Like you said, we got Bruce Banner, who's shown in the trailer, so it's not a big surprise.
Yeah.
Which I know for me personally, like I kind of knew when the Hulk was introduced that he was probably going to be manipulated somehow to end up fighting Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We got John Bernthal's Punisher, who I have not seen the Marvel TV show yet, but John Bernthal, like, kind of, when I picture the Punisher, like, Bernthal looks like he would fit or check a lot of the boxes for that character.
Yeah, he's a great Punisher.
And see, like, that's the thing with, like, what makes, I think, the Spider-Man movies so good is the fact that you don't have to do all this fucking homework. All you had to know is, like, okay, if you've seen No Way Home, which by the box office a lot of people have, you kind of know, like, okay, there's a spell over MJ and Ned that they don't remember Peter Parker. That's pretty much it. That's the only stuff you need to know.
Yeah.
You don't really need to know the Punisher's backstory. I mean, it would be helpful, but I mean,
yeah,
it's not like pertinent to the story.
Right.
And then we got, of course, the big one is Sadie Sink, who the rumor for, I think since she was cast, that she was going to be playing Jean Grey from the X-Men. And of course, that come to fruition. She does play that character. So now the X-Men are officially integrated into the MCU. I thought she was really good.
Yeah, I thought she was pretty good. They used a very, I'd say, it's not deep cut or anything, but they used a very small story with her sister in this, and I think that actually lends to her character a little bit more in this kind of storyline. So I like that a lot. Her sister was a minor character in the books, and they kind of used that as a plot navigation a little bit. That's one of the things that I really like about this movie too, is they didn't give you a lot of exposition, right? Most Marvel movies will say what year it is, and they'll put where you are, and then they'll have really cheesy or out of place dialogue to explain something that the audience hasn't seen. This one didn't need to do that at all. You're right. I don't think that you need to have 1,000 movies under your belt to go see this movie. It just, you learn the narrative naturally just through the characters talking normally versus it being shoehorned in there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they served their purpose, but they didn't it's like, oh cool, the Hulk's in there. It really felt like the movie as a whole, as I heard you talking, I just was thinking about this. The movie itself really felt like a Spider-Man comic book.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I thought was so cool about it was the early montage of him fighting crime. When I seen the trailer for this. I thought that the Scorpion was going to be like a primary villain in the movie, but he's in there, maybe 5 minutes?
Right.
We get a quick glimpse of Tombstone. He's in it, and of course the Hand is in this, where Spider-Man defeats them early, and then they're taken under the control of Damage Control.
Yeah.
Is that the name of that group? I'm probably fucking it up. It's Damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's Damage Control. Yeah.
Okay. There's an old wrestling faction called Damage Control too. I'm like, am I getting them mixed up? But yeah, I mean, I thought this movie was great. Performances were fantastic. Tom Holland really showed something. Like, he kind of went to another gear in this.
I think he worked on his New York accent too, because you could tell. It was great.
Dude, I tell you what, like, when I hear actors that are from England or anywhere that have like an accent, then I hear them do and I had never heard their English accent or their Scottish accent or whatever. And then I see them do an interview, and like, I'm like, fuck, they're from England. Tom Holland is probably like Mount Rushmore for me. Like, fuck, like, I can't believe this guy's from England. Cause like, you hear him talk in interviews, and he's a very well-spoken, articulate Englishman. And then like, I still like, is this a fucking gag? Like, is he putting on an act?
Apparently he really, really likes dialects, and he's great at it. You can tell.
Yeah, like, I know the scene, excuse me, the scene, especially when Mary Jane finds the letter that Peter was going to give to her, and then like never does. And she basically just lays it out there like, hey, like, I don't love you because I don't know you. And just the reaction on his face, you literally see his heart shatter as she's saying that to him. It's just well fucking acted.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it also helps when the person that you actually love in real life says that to you. So you don't have to draw too much, but that being said, yeah, fantastic scene. I really liked that they stuck to their guns on the Mary Jane issue, because going into this movie, you think, okay, he's going to do something, and Ned and Mary Jane are just going to be like, oh yeah, I remember you, some weird magic thing is going to happen, and it's just instantly all the memories are going to flood back. But no, they stuck to their guns. They didn't undo the thing that they did, and they're like, nope, they don't remember. And I really, really liked that about this movie. Now, we might have gotten to see a glimpse of maybe Ned remembers, but I think that I wouldn't mind it if they something came back, but man, do I really like it that they stuck to their guns on that. It makes the story have that much more weight to it. Yeah,
the Ned scene at the end's very, very satisfying. It's I would say it's kind of the closest thing he gets to a happy ending, because like, to me, it kind of harkens back to when Mary Jane introduces Spider-Man to Ned, and they end up hanging out at their place, and he's playing Legos, and she's doing the sketch of the two of them playing Legos, and she says, you guys look like your best friends.
Yeah.
Which, man, like,
yeah,
I'm not going to say that I got teared up, but like, I felt a little something when they said that.
Yeah.
Damn. Fucking got me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that the ending is ambiguous on purpose, but I like that it is. I like that we don't get that real closure, because Spider-Man doesn't really get closure in any of the stories that he's in. But it is, like you said, it is really the closest thing that he can have to a happy ending, and I dig it. I really did.
Yeah, just great. If you're one of like the 9 people that have not seen Spider-Man Brand New Day yet, I highly recommend checking it out. But yeah, man, if you had any like reservations about whether like movies are back, I think the 1-2 punch of the Odyssey and Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
they're fucking back, dude.
Yeah, they are.
Cinema's back,
and in no small part to Tom Holland and Zendaya and John Barenthal.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, I I was brainstorming an idea. I'll get with you about this later, but how we've done kind of a year in review. I thought maybe do like our award, like an award show instead. And I was thinking of
Yeah.
like who would be the MVP of 2026. And I think Tom Holland and Zendaya are definitely in the conversation. Well, fuck, especially Zendaya. She's got another big movie coming out in December.
Yep.
That's not to mention she was in The Odyssey and she's in Spider-Man and she was in the drama earlier this year, which I've heard nothing but rave reviews about too. So,
yeah.
But we'll hammer that out later on.
Okay.
But there is a question that I would like to pose to you in regards to Spider-Man, because I heard on a podcast that Sony isn't like looking seriously at it, but Sony as a movie studio has kind of been struggling. Outside of Spider-Man, they're really having trouble like adapting like big franchise, like building franchises. The biggest movie they had last year, unfortunately, they sold it to Netflix, and Netflix made a killing on it.
Yeah.
But the question was posed, if Sony decided to sell the Spider-Man universe to whomever, how much would those rights go for?
Oh, billions.
Well, I mean, you not only do you get like the movie rights, Sony also owns the video game rights to Spider-Man. I would imagine that all the merchandise, because I mean, Spider-Man's still like a big toy seller too. I mean, anytime I go into a department store, the big kid in me always looks in the toys for like wrestling figures or superhero. Like, I don't know, it's always been a thing that I do, but there's always a shit ton of Spider-Man stuff. And when I was walking past a Meijer the other day, they had an end cap of Spider-Man stuff that was pretty much picked clean. They had like the Marvel Legends figures. They had like the web shooters you could put on your hand.
Yeah.
And like that end cap there might have been like maybe 4 items left. And one of them was like, it looked like they got a shit ton of Spider-Man Marvel Legends figures, but yeah, I mean, he still sells.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the movie rights are a big deal, and you also not only get Spider-Man, you also get all those characters who, in my personal opinion, Spider-Man and Batman have always had the best villains. Like
they have,
like the gallery of villains has always been Spider-Man and Batman, and like no one else is close. So you get all of that too, and plus you get the Venom franchise, which I think Venom is like the last big name that has not made their way into the MCU yet. Because I mean, we're getting the X-Men obviously, but yeah, Venom hasn't really been a part of that outside of a post-credit scene, which they turned around and reversed it in, was that No Way Home? Was that the intro scene?
Yep.
Okay. So you'd also get Venom too. So, and if Disney somehow didn't buy Spider-Man, which I would say they would be the front runner, you also have that relationship with Marvel, which you're going to be cashing in on as well. So
now, that being said, it's Sony's bread and butter. Do they sell at this point, especially after the biggest success that they've had in a long time? Now, that makes it easy to decide price, like, oh, we're at the peak of our game, sell. You know what I mean? But who makes that decision? It's like, oh, this is our bread and butter. We sell it off. We might not survive after this.
No, I mean, it's a matter of like, do you strike while the iron's hot and get the maximum value out of this thing and like kind of move on and try to well, honestly, I think if Sony sold Spider-Man, to me that would be a sign that, hey, we're looking to get into business with like, and I fucking hate that the big studios are merging together, but that would be like, okay, Sony is either looking to like merge with like another of the big studios, or they're looking to get out of the film industry altogether, or
Sony is one of those companies that could probably exit the film industry and still survive on their other sources of revenue. They have a very diverse portfolio. So,
well, I mean, like I'm not
think
too well versed in like business and the stock market. I mean, you may think like you see me like, oh, that guy's loaded, but I'm really not. But I mean, like, is like PlayStation that big of like a moneymaker for them? Because I know like they don't make anything on the consoles at all.
No, PlayStation isn't a huge moneymaker for them. It's actually the electronics business still. It's been their biggest revenue source since, forever. At least the past like 4 or 5 decades. So,
well, I mean, yeah, I'm just like, I generally do not know. So like TVs and like, because I would imagine like computers, it's still like what Apple's like the king of that realm. But I mean, like they still make like that off of like TVs.
Yeah. I think consumer electronics is their wheelhouse, and they'll continue to dominate that market. I mean, they still make the Walkman. It's a ridiculous price, and it kind of sucks for what it does, but
yeah,
that's what they do.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask you ballpark figure. Do you think that the Spider-Man film rights would like eclipse what Disney paid for Star Wars?
Yes.
You think?
Yep.
I
think so. It's Star Wars. The Star Wars purchase was a big one, but let's take into consideration that happened after the prequel movies. The prequel movies did really well. Don't get me wrong. They did well at the box. They didn't do anywhere near the numbers that the original trilogy did, or that George Lucas wanted them to do. And Star Wars interest at that time was at an all-time low, I think. I can't think of anything other than maybe the video games and a few books or something like that, and still the merchandise, obviously. But this would be a world record box office contender, hit video games, merchandise that still flies off the shelves. Like, I think it easily eclipses Star Wars in price.
So what do you because when did he sell that? Was it 2012 or 13?
Yeah.
And I know it sold for like a little over $4 billion. So you think, what were we thinking? Like maybe 10? 10?
7
20?
to 10. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say 10 is probably a modest kind of, 7 to 10 is a modest kind of guesstimate there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think so.
Now, thinking outside the box, who do you think would pay that for the rights to that character?
Well, do the Ellisons want to buy that too? I don't know.
Man, fuck those guys. I'll say now, fuck those guys. They've already ruined CBS News.
Spidey's too woke for us.
Yeah, they've already ruined CBS News. They're gonna merge the legacy studios together. They can fuck off.
Yeah, I think that if anybody had any say, maybe, I mean, Netflix likes to just accrue debt. So maybe Netflix, I know a lot of people don't think of them as like a major contender in the film industry, but I mean, let's face it, they are.
Yeah.
And the next biggest contender would probably be Disney. I mean, they've already used the character. If the character came up for sale, they would be chomping at the bit to get Spider-Man under the umbrella, as they always do for every other franchise.
Right.
So,
well, I would say that it would be between Disney and then like one of the 3 big streamers. That would be Apple or Amazon or Netflix.
Yeah, I think Netflix would be probably the one that would, and I'm only basing this off of deals that Sony has struck in the past with other companies. So,
yeah, I would
I
would put my money on Amazon, because Amazon's making a very concerted effort to put films in theaters. I mean, their track record's been, in terms of box office success. I mean, they had Crime 101, which is a fantastic Heat ripoff, wasn't a very big hit at the box office, and they came out with Project Hail Mary, which is going to be one of the biggest films of the year. Masters of the Universe kind of, I would say, was a total bomb, but didn't do very well at the box office. Still haven't seen that one yet. Have you had a chance to check that one out?
No, I haven't gotten to. For everybody that I've listened to that has seen it, I think was looking at it through the glasses of nostalgia and really liked the cheese. But I'm interested to see what it's like.
I have heard it's either awesome and I would love it, or I'll fucking hate it. I have not heard anything like, oh, it's not too bad. I've heard either I would love it or I would hate it. So I don't know. I'm kind of But yeah, I think that Amazon would be like a major contender for that too. But I'm kind of with you though. I don't think Sony's going to sell. Franchise makes too much money.
Mm-hmm.
And I just seen a story today that they have decided not to go into making any more of the spin-off films.
Well, for good reason.
Yeah.
It's Morbin time.
Which, what more? Oh, with Jared Leto, which, talk about guys age like spoiled milk. But and then Craven the Hunter.
Oh yeah, I forgot that even existed. And then Madam Web, which was written by AI.
Yeah. Well, the Venom movies, I enjoy the Venom
they were
movies.
Okay.
But
the last one was kind of, but they were good.
Yeah,
they were good.
I mean, if anything, Tom Hardy is like just fucking going for it, and I fucking love his Venom. But I think Sony would be wise to stay put. I mean, obviously they're going to keep that deal going because they have to make a movie, I think, every 5 years to keep the rights.
Yeah. Yep. They do.
So
now I'm going to backpedal a little bit, just a little bit, because this kind of fits in. They haven't done anything outside of No Way Home with the other two Spider-Man like avenues that they did for like cinematic Spider-Man. I know they've done Into the Spider-Verse, but that's animated. That's a different thing. But there has been a rumor that the little blip at the end of this movie was not Tom Holland's Spider-Man in space, but another Spider-Man aboard the Fantastic Four ship, escaping a destroyed universe. What do you think about that?
Well, that's first I'd heard of that, and I didn't even pay attention to that.
Because Spider-Man wasn't found on Earth. It wasn't like, it was Spider-Man out in space.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the next film is going to be Spider-Man in space.
Right. Well, I know you said last week that you thought that they're going to bring one of the other two Spider-Men. I'm going to call them the Spider-Men, not Spider-Men, the Spider-Mans.
Yeah. Spider-Mans.
Just like, like the Slendermans, the Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
The neighbors down, Jack, honey, go play at the Spider-Man's house. But I think that makes perfect sense, is to have one of them in the Doomsday, since it looks like they're doing the split multiverses again. Because I think Holland Spider-Man, I think he's going to be back for Secret Wars, which is the following film.
Yeah.
Which, if that's the case, we might get the symbiote. I will never say it like Jenny Slate did in Venom. That still is
symbiote.
Symbiote. The symbiote. Oh, dude, I tell you what, if you ever that is probably one of the most irksome things I've ever heard, sitting in a movie theater. Because I went and seen the first Venom with my wife and my son, and I looked at my wife like, did she fucking say that the way I heard it?
Yeah.
And she couldn't believe I got that pissed off about that. I was like, you just don't get it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So if that's the case, we might be getting a Venom.
Yeah, I hope so. That would be great. I think Sony knows what they have, and they know how to milk the Disney a cash flow too. So I think I think we're in for some good stuff.
Yeah.
So
I'm hopeful with the upcoming MCU slate. So I'm hoping that they're going to right the ship. This is a step in the right direction. For the first time in a long time, I had come out of an MCU movie with the feeling that I used to when I would come out of the Infinity Saga movies. Like, damn, can't wait for the next one. That's the first time I'd felt that in a long time.
Yeah, I honestly can't wait for the next one. It's hopefully going to be as good as. Of course, you and I both share a desire not to get too optimistic or hyped for a movie before we go see it. So.
Now, I have heard that Doomsday trailer they showed at San Diego Comic-Con is a complete fucking 180 from the one that we all got that dropped on the day the tickets went on sale. Like, I heard this trailer fucking rules. And they don't I listened to a pop culture podcast, and the host of that show even I don't understand why they didn't put this one out versus the one that they put out. Like, this one fucking rocks, and this one's like, okay, cool. There's a new. It was almost like, hey, don't forget, Doomsday's coming out soon. You should probably get your tickets for it. So so hopefully we get that one soon.
I hope so. If not, I'll try and find a leaked version on the internet somewhere.
Hey, I've tried. The only one that I found was a very, very, very shitty camera recording that's recorded probably about 50 yards from the screen they were showing it on.
Oh, well, then.
Because they were showing it with the Hall H at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I guess they were being they were really cracking down on, you could take pictures and videos and tweet, take pictures and videos of the actors. You could tweet what was going on, but anything video oriented was, you were getting shut down.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well, yeah, Spider-Man, brand new day. Definitely go check it out. So, I don't know. What do you say about ranking the Spider-Man movies?
I think that for me, this is probably going to be extremely easy, but we'll see. We'll see what each person's list looks like.
Okay.
Let's do this.
First off, our criteria was we were only doing the live action Spider-Man movies. So the Across the Spider-Verse movies are left out, but that's not a reflection on their quality. Those are fantastic movies too.
They are.
When is the last one coming out? I
haven't heard anything.
I thought that after Across the Spider-Verse, the third one was going to be the following year. And then it just nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was scheduling or Sony being some kind of weird. I don't know.
Yeah, unless they're holding
I haven't
it
heard anything.
Unless they might be holding it hey, we can't get Holland and all of them together, so we'll put this one out to kind of meet the criteria for keeping these these rights. So all right, so do you want to go from the bottom bottom up?
Let's do bottom up. Yeah.
Right, let me get my list here. Damn, you're awful popular today. At 10:45 at night, I hear your phone going off.
Oh, yeah. My kid's asking for more screen time on her iPad.
Tell her no.
I did.
Okay. Sometimes you revel in being the hard-ass dad. No, I'm not giving that to you tonight.
Yeah.
Number 9, which there are 9 live-action Spider-Man movies. Number 9 for me is The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yep, that was mine as well.
Nothing about this movie was enjoyable at all. I do not like this movie. I mean, Garfield, I think, is very good as Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and he actually, I think he grabs a little bit of the essence of the Spider-Man that I always grew up, kind of like the smart ass, 20-something. He did that a lot better than Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire,
he did.
Watching the movies now, Tobey Maguire is kind of like, the scene in Spider-Man 3 where he's emo Spider-Man, where he's got the black hair. It's like that throughout his entire run. That's not a reflection of him being bad. I like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, but just he seems like he's sad or earnest throughout the entire trilogy.
Yeah.
There's no like
somebody put some dirt in his eye.
Yeah, it's just like there's no like fucking like attitude. He doesn't have an attitude.
Right.
Whereas Garfield, I thought captured that really well. But yeah, like the subplot with Electro, just super fucking weird. I just didn't like it.
No, I didn't like it either. It pulled too many villains into the story, which was the downfall of one of the other Spider-Man movies we'll probably get into, which is actually my next one.
Oh, yeah, Spider-Man 3?
Yeah.
Okay. I have Spider-Man 3 at number 7.
Okay. All right. Don't get me wrong, it's grown on me over the years. So, but I also read what the 4th Spider-Man movie was going to be, according to Sam Raimi, and the fact that number 3 kind of ruined that puts it a little bit further down on my list. But yeah, no, it suffers from too many villains getting stuffed in there all at once. Then we also have to deal with the death of Gwen Stacy, and that kind of gets overshadowed a little bit by other things that are going on in the movie. It's just not a good film. The story's all over the place, and it's not because of Andrew Garfield. Just like you said, he's great. I don't necessarily like Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker. He's not nearly as clumsy and nerdy enough. He's kind of like this cool skater kid, which is fine. It's not, I mean, I don't hate it, but it does lend itself better to Spider-Man. And yeah, that's kind of like Spider-Man's thing.
I think if you took Garfield and Maguire, to me, it's kind of like if you take Michael Keaton and Christian Bale for Batman. Like if you took like Garfield's Spider-Man and Maguire's Peter Parker, made them one person.
Yeah.
The definitive interpretation of the character. And that's how I feel about Batman's. Like, I can't see Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne, but as Batman, he fucking rocks. And then, like, I love Bale's Batman. Some people are not fans of the voice, but to me, as Bruce Wayne, like, I buy him. I actually have Affleck as my second favorite Bruce Wayne, but that's another show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Spider-Man 3 at number 7. For me, I think what ruins it for me, besides the lack of the villains, is the villains are not very compelling.
Okay.
I think something could have been done if you would have just made the Sandman. Because, I mean, I think they were on the right track with Sandman. He wasn't really a bad guy. He's just...
Yeah. Misunderstood.
Kind of, yeah. Whereas Topher Grace's Venom, I never understood that casting. I didn't like it when they announced it. I was willing to give it a chance because I've been proven wrong before. And no, just nothing about that.
Eddie Brock was a jock. And Topher Grace, he's a lot of things, but he's not a jock.
Yeah. That's why, like, Hardy's is so much better. And plus, like, Hardy just goes all in on the fucking lunacy of Venom.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and then the whole sequence, the dance number, that once you see that just takes me out of the rest of the movie. Like, I just can't really watch it after that. It's just like, I can sit through it. Then the minute that happens, like, all right, I think I'm done.
I think that's one of Sam Raimi's, like, downfalls. I think it's like he puts those scenes in his movie because he thinks of them and he's like, oh yeah, this will be great, and then it's just not. And sorry, Sam, it's a good effort, but like Drag Me to Hell, when the psychic lady starts dancing on the table, I think she gets a goat head at one time too. I don't remember that film off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure I remember her getting a goat head and she danced, and I was just like,
big Drag Me to Hell guy here. Actually, for that particular atmosphere, that works because it's a group of gypsies and, you know, it's a horror thing. You can kind of, you can deal with like something a little off kilter, but like it's in a Spider-Man movie, it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, it does take you out of the atmosphere a little bit.
So I'm going to guess you probably had The Amazing Spider-Man at 7.
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man is at 7.
Okay, yeah, I had it at 8.
Yeah. The only reason I have it above Spider-Man 3 is because it was the first movie, and they did their best not to rehash the origin story, like, kind of storyline. They did it a little bit because they had to, obviously. But one of my biggest gripes for movies like this that have been redone and done, like Superman, Batman, I never want to see a Batman movie that shows the origin story ever again. Like, I'm done. I know how Batman became Batman. Please do not show me that again.
Right.
This Spider-Man movie did it really well. They kept the important parts in there, but they made it different, and I liked that. I also liked the fact that they focused on the one villain who wasn't very compelling, which is why it's a little bit further down on the list, but they focused on the one villain, they stuck with it, and I kind of dig that. So, especially after Spider-Man 3.
I will say I will give bonus points to The Amazing Spider-Man because they actually... Now, I don't know if this is just like how people that in the 80s, somebody looked 40, looked 80.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm not mistaken, Aunt May is supposed to be Peter Parker's mom's sister.
Yeah.
But they, like, in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, Aunt May is like fucking ancient. Don't get me wrong. I love Rosemary Harris's performance. She is such a sweet lady. And like, man, like, if I could get like a replacement grandma for my original one, like she would be in the running. Like, hey, you know what? Like, we're going to give you somebody to take your sweet grandma's spot. She's no longer on Earth, but you can pick a replacement. Like, I would seriously like give her consideration. But she's also like fucking 80. And I don't see how that's even humanly possible that Peter Parker's mom is that woman's sister. Now they get a little bit better when they got Sally Field.
Right.
And they got Jebediah Bartlett to be Uncle Ben. But yeah, I just...
No, I agree. I think that...
Did they make Peter Parker's parents... Because I only seen it once, and I never really wanted to revisit it. Don't they make Peter Parker's parents... Like, they're part of some kind of government conspiracy or something? See.
Yeah, and Peter Parker's dad has ties to Oscorp in that series.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, Uncle Ben and Aunt May look super ancient in the Tobey Maguire series, and Aunt May, no fault of her own, she's extremely good at acting in those movies, but she looks like what Aunt May looks like in the comic books when Peter is like a grown man married to Mary Jane, and like she's dying on her deathbed. And he has to give up his marriage to Mary Jane because he makes a deal with Mephisto. Like that's the Aunt May of that time frame. Not the one where he's in high school.
Yeah, once again though, with these movies, just kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Villains are not very compelling. I will give bonus points. Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy, and that was kind of a refreshing take too, is you actually got Gwen as the love interest versus Mary Jane.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know, man. These movies just don't work, even though Garfield's giving it his all. And like I said, I really like Garfield's Spider-Man, but
yeah, he's a good Spider-Man, but the movies, he was given bad storylines, and yeah, just that's where it laid.
Now I think this is where things get interesting, because now we're into the territory where there's really no bad Spider-Man movies in this. The rest of the ones that have been yet to be mentioned yet. So this isn't a reflection. This isn't saying that like they're bad. It's personal preference.
Okay. Yep.
So what is your number 6?
My number 6 is Far From Home.
That's mine too.
Yeah.
Far From Home. Thoughts?
So they, again, had to take it after Endgame, right? So it's Tony Stark is dead, and he's dealing with that. So it's still got the shadow of Tony, like you were saying earlier. he's not a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in New York. They're a class trip in Europe, right? And we have Skrull Nick Fury working with Mysterio, who hates Tony Stark. Again, Mysterio is a Spider-Man villain, and in this movie, they made him hate Tony Stark. Kind of hated that. Mysterio is one of my favorite Spider-Man villains of all time.
Yeah,
like
he's
cool. Such a, and he's super campy. Just love him as a villain. And they made him hate Tony Stark, which, you know, at least I get Mysterio. The Spider-Man 4 that I was alluding to earlier with Sam Raimi, that was going to be the villain of that movie, which is why I'm kind of salty about it, you know, getting canned. But they were going to have Bruce Campbell play Mysterio.
Oh,
and the reason why he follows Spider-Man throughout all of the trilogy is because he's obsessed with Spider-Man. And that's why he's the usher. That's why he's the maitre d'. That's, yeah. But yeah, we don't get that movie. So I'm kind of salty about it. Anyways, yeah, it's just, it kind of falls outside of the box of Spider-Man film, and it didn't have the nostalgia to lean on that No Way Home did. So it gains this rank, I think, just based on those principles alone. Still a great movie, really good story. They had to follow up Endgame with something, and why not do a Spider-Man movie? You know, Spider-Man can do no wrong at this point. And plus, we already know all of the characters that are involved in this movie, so kind of, you know, like the character development as well, since it's the second film. So not a bad movie.
Yeah.
Just doesn't measure up to the other ones.
Yeah, I think that Far From Home was like the perfect movie post Endgame because of such like the emotional weight of that movie and everything that led up to it, and you know, the death of the linchpin of the entire franchise. It was something lighthearted, and I think like they needed that. I like No Way Home, but yeah, your big complaints are kind of mine too. Like, I didn't really get why basically Peter Parker and Mysterio like even colliding was due to the fact that Mysterio just didn't like Tony Stark. Like, that's like when they said, I was like, I thought you were a Spider-Man villain, not a Iron Man villain who just happens to cross paths with Spider-Man.
Right.
That, and I really, the biggest gripe with me for this movie, one, it's not set in New York, but even bigger than that, it sometimes to me felt like they were trying to turn Spider-Man into Iron Man, because Spider-Man in this is like very tech reliant, like too tech reliant at times. I mean, I know Spider-Man is a very smart person and he has gadgets and stuff, but some of the stuff was a bit much. Like, okay, you're kind of turning into like a Batman Iron Man hybrid. I just wasn't a fan of that.
No, yeah, I didn't like that. The whole essence of like the fabricator that he gets from Tony Stark is like, yeah, this thing can make everything. It's a 3D printer for anything you can think of. It's just like, no. Spider-Man didn't have that.
Well, my biggest complaint was with the glasses and like, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't they introduce the Iron Spider suit into this one too? No, that was in, never mind. That was in Endgame, never mind. But yeah, I just wasn't a fan of that. And plus, I don't like when they deviate from the suits. Like, I like the classic suits from a lot of the guys, and like, I don't know, like, the Spider-Man suits, the first one, or like in Brand New Day, like, keep that.
Yeah, because he actually borrowed from Andrew Garfield's suit and Tobey Maguire's suit. He's got the raised webbing of Tobey Maguire's suit, and he's got the larger spider on the back that Andrew Garfield had, which I think was really cool. After he met them, and he was like, yeah, I can do that. So,
but yeah, that's my big complaints. I do love the cliffhanger ending where Mysterio basically fucked Peter Parker over and just like told the whole world who he was. I do love that.
Oh man, and bringing back J. Jonah Jameson to deliver the news story. Yeah,
like, bringing him
so
back
good.
was like, fuck yes. That's like my favorite, like, mid post credit scene in these movies was when they brought him back. I fucking loved it. I almost did the fist bump or pump when They did that. But yeah, I think out of the Holland Spider-Man movies, this is probably the weakest entry. But like I said, it's still a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
All right. Number 5. What do you have?
So number 5 for me is going to be Spider-Man Homecoming.
Okay.
And again, the reason why it falls a little shorter than, top 4 is going to be because he's, Iron Man's ward, essentially, which, it's fine. It kind of does the thing where Spider-Man's origin story isn't being shown, which I said was a plus for the Andrew Garfield film, but they didn't. I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, it's not like the comic book, it sucks, but they did it in such a way where they had to shoehorn Spider-Man in as somebody that was being tutored by Tony Stark versus him already being a superhero in his own right, and they sort of alluded to it. They're like, oh yeah, you can continue being your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but we didn't get to see any of that. We only got to see the Tony Stark stuff. So it was kind of a bummer. And then we do have Tom Holland taking on the role of Spider-Man in this film. So honestly, probably the most comic accurate Spider-Man. I know that we were talking about how if we took Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, and Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker and mixed them together, I think we get Tom Holland in this movie because he is a nerdy high schooler. He's not like super popular. There's, cooler kids around, but he still runs with the nerd crew. You know what I mean? So we'll give props to the writers for that versus having the origin story kind of messed up. And then while Vulture is a great villain and I really like Michael Keaton in the role, again, coming back to the superhero business, girl Batman, I think that falls short again because he's a Tony Stark villain at that point. He's mad at Tony Stark coming in with the Department of Damage Control and taking up the cleanup job from it. Taking away money and, all of that stuff. So he has to turn to villainy. Not a Spider-Man villain at that point. It has the same kind of effect Mysterio did. And which is why I think that Brand New Day is great because like we were saying earlier, it's Spider-Man's own movie at this point, right? It's Spider-Man's story, Spider-Man's villains, Spider-Man's feelings, Spider-Man's hopes and dreams. The first 2 films in the new Tom Holland trilogy feel like they're Tony Stark movies, and that kind of sucks for Spider-Man because he kind of gets the spotlight taken away from him. So that's why it's at the spot for me.
I had Homecoming at 4.
Okay.
I really dig Homecoming. The biggest, I guess, the thing that I love most about it is being a kid that grew up in the mid to late 80s is it has a very John Hughes feel to it.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the high school stuff, like kind of like the awkwardness of being in high school, and that like really like that hit the mark. I think they got a lot of like growing up as a teenager and not being like the cool kid or like, the jock. Like they kind of nailed that whole aspect of like trying to find your place in like high school. I think I love Michael Keaton's Vulture. I think he is probably the best like Spider-Man villain in the Holland movies. I'm not counting No Way Home because those are essentially villains, the other Spider-Man movies, but I think he's been the best villain so far. I don't think that his reasoning for hating Tony Stark, I think it's a little different because like basically they're putting like he has a family and like I think that's why I like him so much.
Yeah.
It's like he's a very well written, well fleshed out character. Like he has his motives and like you kind of, I think what always makes a good villain is if you could kind of like, okay, if I was put in that situation, I can see myself doing what this person's doing, even though I know it's wrong. I could see their point of view on that. And I kind of got that from Keaton's. Because like basically they taking food off of his table. He's got a family to support, and he
Right.
didn't have that, so he's got to, you know, go a different way to be able to do that. And us having families, I
Yeah.
can totally see that point of view.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the thing that holds us down a little bit is the fact that it feels just as much as an Iron Man, Tony Stark movie as it does a Spider-Man movie. Even though Robert Downey Jr. is not in it a whole lot, he steals every scene that he's in. Like every scene that he's in with Tom Holland, like especially the whole. I actually just watched Homecoming on Saturday. Like coming home from the conference, like especially like when they go to meet Aunt May.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, he's throwing 100 in this, and it's kind of like
he is.
He's over like his shadows like over everybody in that whole movie. That's probably the one drawback. Not that it's a bad thing. I still love Homecoming, but yeah, it sits at number 4 for me.
Okay.
My number 5 might be a tad controversial, but I have No Way Home at number 5.
Okay.
I know for me, I think if you take away the gimmick of having all 3 cinematic Spider-Men in the same movie, it's a little bit of a mess.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a mess. And some of the stuff just, for me on a personal level, just doesn't work as well for me. I will say that I think the Doctor Strange character, I think works better as a side character or a supporting character in these movies than he does in his own starring movie.
I agree.
I mean, like I thought Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness were solid movies, but they're not top tier. But I really like the way he was used in this.
Yeah, I think Multiverse of Madness was it turned into the Scarlet Witch horror movie at the end, so it wasn't really a Doctor Strange movie at that
Now,
point.
I will say I will applaud their attempt, because that's what Marvel used to do, is like they try to incorporate different genres of movies, but what if it's like a Marvel movie instead?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like the second Doctor Strange is kind of a horror movie. The Winter Soldier is more like an espionage. I always consider Guardians of the Galaxy kind of like a Western movie.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, I think if you take away like the wow factor of having all 3 of them together, it doesn't quite hit with me as well. But I mean, it's not to say it's a bad movie, but I do like getting Defoe and Molina back as Doc Ock and the Green Goblin, and that was super cool. A lot of cool stuff, and it's like a lot of the cameos and everything, but just I think they went a little overboard with it.
Okay. Now, see, I think that they balance it really well, and the only reason I say that is because it did focus on Tom Holland at the end. Tom Holland, Spider-Man, had to bring the other 2 together to defeat the villains. He had that moment of like he was broken and he was going to kill the Green Goblin. Every Spider-Man always pulls their punches because they are so super strong. Spider-Man's one of the only superheroes that could hold their own against the Hulk, at least for a little bit. And he would have easily killed the Green Goblin if he wanted to. And Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man stopped him. And the reason why I like that is because it's like, okay, you're Spider-Man now. You gotta step up to the plate. You gotta be Spider-Man. You gotta make the hard decisions. And then you kind of see him back off, and he's like, okay, yeah. And then Doctor Strange is struggling, and it's like, just make everybody forget. And that meant his friends and family too. That meant he would be alone. He made the hard decision at the very end, which is very much what Spider-Man would do. And it was very focused on Tom Holland at that point. So in a sense, the other 2 Spider-Man and the villains lent themselves to passing the torch to Tom Holland in that movie.
Oh, I agree.
And
I think
I dig it.
I mean, I kind of get you needed to have. I think the villains in this movie suffer from I'm going to call it the Robert De Niro blueberry muffin sequence in Casino where he tells the kitchen that there has to be an equal amount of blueberries in each blueberry muffin.
Yeah.
It's okay because we got Doc Ock and the Green Goblin from Tobey Maguire's universe, but then we got Jamie Foxx and I don't know how to, Reese Ifans,
something like.
He plays the lizard in the first one. They don't really do anything.
They don't.
It's like I don't understand why these guys are even in this movie.
Yeah, they're just there to be the villains for the other Spider-Man.
Right. And I don't.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by it's too much because like those characters really don't serve a purpose outside of just being like, okay, we got 2 from Tobey's universe, so we got to bring 2 from Andrew's. But it's also not fair that Jamie Foxx and I'm going to say Reese Ifans, just because I don't know really how to pronounce his name. They've got to go up against, I don't think it's really a question, the 2 best villains in any Spider-Man movie they've ever done.
Right. Yeah. Well, see, you could probably have, now this isn't to say anything bad about Alfred Molina, but Green Goblin is by far, I think, one of Spider-Man's biggest arch nemesis. Right?
I've always thought that the Green Goblin is Spider-Man's Joker. I've like when you have me name a Spider-Man villain, I'm always going to name the Green Goblin first. Although I lean a little bit more towards Doc Ock, but
Doc Ock is more of the friend that turned evil, kind of. But yeah, you're right. Green Goblin is the Joker, and I think that the movie works with just the Green Goblin. Like you bring the Green Goblin back, you don't need anybody else. So yeah, I get what you're saying there. Yeah. And man, does Willem Dafoe just like chew up scenes that he's in?
Oh my God.
He's just great.
He's like, leave some on the plate for everybody else.
He also, quick fun fact for this portion of the podcast, even though we're not doing categories, he did all of his fight scenes that he could do by himself without a stunt double.
Because Dafoe's got to be, cool. 70 now or close to it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just, that's my biggest gripe with that. It's just, it's the too many cameos. And like, if you take away the, but I said, take like Spider-Man No Way Home, still a fun ass movie. I actually, when I said I watched Homecoming on Saturday, like a couple days before I watched No Way Home. And that was the first Holland Spider-Man I watched. So
yeah. Well, I think that, just long story short, No Way Home for me is 4 because he starts to come into his own and actually be Spider-Man in that movie. So,
okay. So our top 3 is pretty much the same, just kind of depending on which order we got them.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Number 3, I have the OG Spider-Man.
So do I.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've spoken on this show about when I see a movie being in absolute awe of what I'm seeing on the silver screen. It's only happened a handful of times. It's like when I was a kid, I got to see Star Wars for the first time. I was like 5 when I seen Return of the Jedi in a movie theater. And like just seeing this massive space spectacle on this gigantic screen just blew me away. Same thing, 89, middle of June, plopping my little 10-year-old butt down in my movie theater seat at the old classic Regent movie theater in Springfield, and I seen Batman for the first time in a movie theater. Like, wow, the Joker, just larger than life maniac. Then the last time before this was Jurassic Park, seeing like dinosaurs brought to life, but seeing Spider-Man on the big screen was just something like I'll never forget. Because I never thought like, if anybody knows the whole story of getting Spider-Man to the screen, is just an interesting story in itself. Many failed attempts, rights getting sold left and right. Because for those of you who don't know, Marvel was in or they were close to bankruptcy, if I'm not mistaken. But
they were super close. Yeah.
To make money to get like some kind of, liquid into the company, they were selling off the film rights. And that's why for the longest time, all these film rights were splintered some studios had these characters, another studio had these characters, but Spider-Man originally was under the Carlico wing, and James Cameron was going to make a Spider-Man movie at one point. I believe it was going to have DiCaprio as Peter Parker, which would have been interesting. But all this legal wrangling took forever to finally get to where they, like, Sony finally got a hold of it. They were able to put it out. And the fact that, like, Sam Raimi hit an absolute home run, just remarkable piece of filmmaking. Everything about this movie is fantastic. Tobey Maguire, even though I said he's a little too earnest and depressed sometimes for my liking, still made a fantastic Spider-Man as we spoke. Willem Dafoe, I think, man, it's really tough, but if you made a Mount Rushmore of comic book movie villains, Dafoe and Molina deserve strong consideration for that.
Mm-hmm.
Both fantastic. Yeah, Willem Dafoe is great as the Green Goblin. Even Mary Jane Watson, Kirsten Dunst's Mary Jane Watson, she was actually really good. And it took me a little time to get used to Zendaya's portrayal because Zendaya played Mary Jane as a little kind of quirky and weird, whereas Mary Jane's from the OG Spider-Man series is more like what I always read.
Girl Next Door.
Yeah, always read Mary Jane to be. So she's great in it too. But yeah, just an absolute home run. And it was a super big hit too. But yeah, Spider-Man, the original's number 3.
Yeah, Spider-Man, the original is number 3 for me as well. I know that maybe I'll get some pushback from this. I don't know. But I like the Green Goblin. I like Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin better as a villain than Doc Ock. That being said,
I don't think that's really like a hot take. I mean, they're both fantastic.
Well, just judging on how this list is played out, we both know that Spider-Man 2 is higher on the list. And that's because while Doc Ock isn't as good of a villain per se, I think that it lends itself to better storytelling. So there's that. Although, man, the scenes where Norman Osborn is talking to himself in the mirror. Oh man, I love that scene. Every time I see that scene, I stop and just watch it. It's just so good. I don't. And then on the day of the celebration in the city, it just looks like a comic book. Like it's ripped straight from a comic book.
Are you talking about
like the colors,
the Thanksgiving Day
how
parade?
bright it is? Yeah. And I don't know why I laugh every time I see this, but every time he throws that pumpkin bomb on the balcony and they all turn into skeletons, I just laugh.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because they're like, and then the skeletons just fall. I don't know if it's the age of the CG or what, or just the fact that they're all in those particular poses and then just fall to the ground. But I laugh every time.
Sam Raimi also, for me, like Spider-Man, I was a little skeptical that they got a horror director to do Spider-Man because I'm like, I'm a huge Evil Dead fan, and Sam Raimi has proven himself even prior to Spider-Man he could do other genres, but like you're going from like a modestly budgeted Western or the horror stuff to I'm guessing at the time $150 million superhero movie, and this isn't just any superhero. This is arguably, besides
Spider-Man.
Batman and Superman, like the superhero like just about anybody would know. So
I think when thinking about it though, I think that horror kind of has the same kind of camp as a comic book would.
Yeah, I think
I mean?
actually was more of a strength than a weakness.
Yeah. So I think it just lends itself to the kind of story that it is. But yeah, definitely solid number 3, and it earns its spot and recently got bumped down. But we'll go into that. So yeah, what's your number 2?
Brand New Day.
Yeah, me as well.
We've already discussed. I think if I had a nitpick, I guess, for lack of a better term, the villain. I don't know, who would you consider be the villain of that? Would you say
the villain
Jean Grey, or would you figure it was the Tillman Trammell character?
I think that Jean Grey is Darth Vader, and the Department of Damage Control is Darth Sidious.
That's
If
a
that
good
makes
way.
sense.
No, I can totally see that.
Yeah. So yeah, Jean Grey is the main villain in this particular film, but then she turns good, like Darth Vader. You know, they have that heart to heart at the end, and yeah, I think that the bigger bad is going to go on to another movie, the Department of Damage Control. They're probably going to start the whole campaign against mutants after this with the introduction of Jean Grey, which is cool. I like that. But I would consider Jean Grey to be the villain of this movie, essentially.
Yeah, I think that was like the one gripe. I was actually thinking about what if that was William Stryker as
Mhm.
the head of Damage Control versus Bill Metzger. That
Yeah.
changed. I think it would have changed my outlook on. I don't know, like Trammell. If I called him Tillman Trammell, I do apologize, but Trammell Tillman, who's a fantastic actor.
Oh God, he's great.
Yeah,
Love him in Severance.
Yeah, Severance.
He's a great Mr. Milchick.
Steals the one scene that he's in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. I mean, he's throwing 100 miles an hour in that thing. But
Yeah.
just, I don't know. It's the problem that the MCU has is they have trouble writing good bad guys all the time, like on a consistent basis. And I mean, I guess he isn't meant to be like the primary villain. I mean, it's supposed to be Jean Grey for the most part, but I think it might have worked a little better to me if that would have been somebody that at least that I know is villainous, you know? Like you see him like 5 minutes of the movie, like, yeah, that guy is going to be, he's up to no good.
Bad guy. Yeah, he's bad guy. Yeah, it was a little bit predictable in that sense, but I think that
one note. It was very one note.
I think that just like in the Thunderbolts, where you get untraditional villain that has a sympathetic backstory, it lent itself to the plot of the movie. I think that the climax of the quote unquote battle with Jean Grey was a lot more satisfying than, like I said before, punchy, smashy. So I think that it's okay in that sense.
Number 1, Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
Arguably one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. I'm perfectly fine. It's in my top 5.
It's in my top 3.
Top 3?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we talking like Marvel characters or just in general?
Just in general, superhero movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it.
I think it's got a case, a strong case. But yeah, definitely it's top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Pitch Perfect comic book movie. I wish more people would take notes. This is how you do a comic book movie.
Yeah.
I know you're a little bit more partial to Defoe's Green Goblin. I prefer Molina's Doc Ock a little more just because of the emotional gravity that he has. And I think that set the template for making the villains a bit more sympathetic, that you kind of, because all the guy wanted to save his wife. That's all. It's all it was. Like he could save his wife, so it drove him to be mad. Which his work was everything to him except for his wife, who meant more to him, and he lost that. All he had was his work, and it kind of drove him crazy.
Yeah.
And to this day, one of the absolute best action set pieces in any action movie was the elevated train sequence where he's holding it with the webs. To this day, if I'm trying to hold anything back, I always use that reference. Like I feel like Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. And the fact that like the entire train, like make sure that he's okay. Like they pass him back and lay him down and
protect his
nobody
identity.
tries to yeah.
Oh, that scene hits.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Spider-Man 2 is pitch perfect. I can't think of too many comic book movies that are better than this one. We actually like it so much that that's the only Spider-Man movie we did in the old format. We didn't even do Spider-Man 1. We just skipped to Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. Which, I don't know why we never did the first Spider. I mean, I liked it. We should have done. But anyways, I digress. But
yeah, what are your thoughts on Spider-Man 2?
So yeah, it is probably perfect superhero movie formula. At this point, we're past Spider-Man's origin story, and we're getting down to what Spider-Man is about. It's about balancing Peter Parker everyday life with Spider-Man being the superhero. You know, with great power comes great responsibility, so he has to bear that burden. I think that's one of the reasons why I liked Brand New Day as well. It kind of mirrors that from Spider-Man 2, because in both movies, he's alone. And in Spider-Man 2, he decides, I'm not going to be Spider-Man anymore. I'm going to be Peter Parker, because I know people are counting on me to be Peter Parker, and I'm not there for them. And then in Brand New Day, I can't be there for anybody because nobody remembers me. So I'm just going to be Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And in both cases, he ends up alone. He ends up not doing what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to be both. He's supposed to balance both. He's supposed to make the hard choices. And I think that's what makes Spider-Man 2 great.
Mm.
And I think that's what makes him so relatable, and what makes both of these movies number 1 and number 2, for sure.
Right. But yeah, I think it's a pretty solid list.
Mm-hmm.
When I suggested to do this, I figured that the bottom half and the top half would be fairly similar, but I was curious to see where the Holland Spider-Man movies before Brand New Day, where they would sit. So
yeah.
A little bit
Well, we had a couple that were flip-flopped, but I think we were in agreement on most everything. So
yeah. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. Hope you guys and gals are enjoying the new format. If you like what you heard here today, please, please, please take a brief moment, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. We would appreciate it. Follow us on your favorite social media platform of choice. We got all the major ones in the show description below. Just click on the link, hit follow. I don't know what we're doing for next week yet. I guess we'll just wait and see where the wind takes us. But we will have a new episode out next week. Maybe dive into Spider-Man. Maybe we'll do a draft. Who knows? But the only way to find out is to follow us on social media. That way you get all the latest show updates. So until next week, we will talk to you guys and gals later.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.